Before I start this video, I want to acknowledge that I've made a similar video to this before. However, that video focused more on fake disorder cringe compilations, and I want to go deeper into the topic of cringe culture and its ties to ableism in this video.
Well, here it is. Today's modern generation. Standing around in your bedroom and faking having Tourette's is now considered cool, quirky, and trendy. I would ask if it can get any lower than this, but honestly, it's been a downward spiral for the last 3 years. It's not getting any better. Ultron was onto something, man. He took a look at the internet for 5 seconds and decided to erase humanity. And honestly, I agree. What the fuck are we doing?
When I was growing up, you could be bullied for basically anything that made you stand out. Hand-me-down clothes, big ears, acne, and of course, any sign of neurodiversity. I was very awkward and quiet as a child, and this made me a big target for bullying. I want to clarify that I'm planning on eventually going through the process of being diagnosed with autism. But for right now, I'm not formally diagnosed, though my autistic loved ones and a psychiatrist all believe I'm probably autistic. But because I don't want to speak on autism without a diagnosis, I will be using my autistic wife's experiences as examples in this video. My wife was also very quiet and awkward growing up, and she was called derogatory words such as the R word by other kids. Now, the other kids didn't know my wife was autistic at the time. Hell, she didn't even know. But due to social ineptitude being a common symptom of autism, she was sniffed out by bullies anyway. Conspiracy theorists would have you believe that autism is on the rise. But honestly, more people are just getting diagnosed because autism is more understood now. Young parents know the symptoms and are getting their children diagnosed, and autistic adults are getting diagnosed finally after years. But this newer drastic social attention towards autism has caused a lot of negative side effects, namely, neurotypicals giving their unwanted opinions. Anti-vaxxers will swear up and down that autism is on the rise because of the COVID vaccine. That guy who was popular in your high school is convinced that everyone with autism is lying for attention nowadays. And your uncle's new wife thinks people are getting misdiagnosed because she met a 20-year-old autistic woman last week and she behaved nothing like her autistic 8-year-old son. It's tough out here for autistic people right now. You're constantly either having to defend your diagnosis, or you're being told you should chug peppermint oil to cure yourself. By the way, essential oils are poisonous, please don't ingest them. A few years ago, we saw a boom in the popularity of fake disorder cringe videos. And while some people do fake disorders for attention or as a means to an end, this is typically known as malingering, or it could be Munchausen. Most people being posted in these compilations didn't show obvious signs of malingering. They were just cringe. And as I said before about children bullying kids for being different, well, adults do it too. It seems that these days you can only identify as autistic if you don't show any symptoms. If you admit to having meltdowns which cause you to hit people, or say mean things to the people you love, well, then you're lying about being autistic. You're just a narcissist who wants an excuse to hurt people. If you physically stim by flapping your arms, that's embarrassing, and you clearly don't have autism, because you just want attention. The truth is, there's no real way to know that someone is faking a disorder unless you're a trained professional and they're your patient. And even then, professionals can misdiagnose patients. According to an article on durhamuniversity.com written by Dr. Alokananda Rudra, nearly 80% of autistic women will be misdiagnosed. Honestly, when you look at these fake disorder cringe compilations, most of the people featured in them are women.
I think so many girls and women are missed when it comes to a diagnosis, because essentially Neurodivergence can look very different in girls and women. It can look different in males, but statistically and quantifiably, we know it does get missed a lot more in girls and women. Starting at what we're looking for or what we're able to pick up on and identify is very different. And if you're not already looking for those signals and signs, whether it's in your own children, in your peers, or as a teacher, let alone when you get to the clinician or the GP, then you're not going to pick it up if it's not the signals and the characteristics that we're usually looking for. So if we're thinking very crudely in terms of autism, kids that line up toys, or kids that know everything about dinosaurs and play with trains and don't have any friends and are isolated in the playground, if that's what you're looking for, or don't make eye contact, all those things that actually, in my now experience for quite a while working with neurodivergent people, often isn't the case, then you're not going to pick it up, and these people are gradually going to go missed, whether it's through the education system, by their families, and then makes it even harder when you get to the GP or to the clinicians, because the person sat in front of them doesn't look like what we think or what we expect an autistic or a person with ADHD to look like.
Because society doesn't trust women to know what they're talking about, especially when it comes to their own bodies. You can't be an autistic child in the eyes of neurotypicals if you don't have frequent meltdowns and physically stim. Autistic little girls who are quiet and shy and try not to draw attention to themselves so they don't physically stim, well, they're just shy. And you can't be an autistic adult in the eyes of neurotypicals if you have public meltdowns and physically stim. An autistic woman is having a meltdown in McDonald's because they got her order wrong? Pfft, she must have BPD and be a total narcissist. Misogyny and ableism seem to be intrinsically linked. When men are diagnosed with autism, it's rarely ever questioned. But if a woman is diagnosed, she will never stop being told that her diagnosis is wrong or fake. Every now and then, a video will go viral of a woman with autism stimming, and the comments will be full of unqualified neurotypicals declaring her to be a malingerer. And sometimes, even other autistic people are just embarrassed by the idea of being seen the way she's being seen, so they also take the time to invalidate her. She's faking it because she's being cringe. She's too embarrassing to have autism. No autistic person would make a fool out of themselves like this. Well, I'm here to tell you that yes, they would, and you'd probably make fun of them for it. Visible autism is quote-unquote cringe to neurotypicals, because autistic people don't follow the stringent societal rules that neurotypicals expect them to. You can't say that, it's rude. You can't do that, it's embarrassing. Stop having a meltdown, you look crazy. It is inherently cringe in the eyes of neurotypicals to be neurodivergent. And that's why they invalidate cringe autistic people, because if they acknowledge that this person really is autistic and they find them cringe, they'll feel like a bully. They won't be able to humiliate and make fun of them if they're actually autistic. It's easier to just call the cringe autistic person a malingerer than to face the fact that you still want to bully autistic people, just like you did in high school. Thanks so much for watching. This was more of a rant style video than a deep dive, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'm also really sorry about my scratchy voice today. I'm having a GERD episode, which is basically heartburn, and it has clogged up my throat like crazy, so I'm really sorry about the way my voice sounds today. Please subscribe if you enjoy this content and want to see more. Bye!